Support provided by Lafayette Travel, Red Stick Sports, and the U.S. Army Baton Rouge Recruiting Battalion.
We'll see what happens with Tulane. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the circus that is LSU football. Let's get to the game first that was played on Saturday in Norman, Oklahoma. LSU has beaten Oklahoma the last 3 times. Last season, in the regular season in Baton Rouge. They also wound up beating them, remember, in 2019 playoffs, and then they beat them in the national championship. But let's move for LSU highlights against Oklahoma and show you what they were able to do in Norman against the Sooners for the first time playing up there, where Oklahoma, hey, look, they are in position right now for the playoffs. So LSU could play spoiler if they could get the win, but we know how LSU has struggled. 3 plays into the game for OU's opening drive. How about Harold Perkins with the interception and a great return, 44 yards, and the defense sets LSU up at the 5-yard line. So here comes LSU's offense. First play, Oklahoma takes it right back. Michael Van Buren throws it in the end zone, and he's picked off by Peyton Bowen. Why LSU doesn't run is beyond me, Scott, and we don't have enough time on the show to talk about why they keep relying on this, but they did. So Oklahoma gets it right back. Mateer now to Giovanni Gibson. 27 yards, and the Sooners are moving. It leads to a 38-yard Tate Sandell field goal, and it's 3-0 Oklahoma. Early second quarter, Damian Ramos, who's been outstanding in his career for the Tigers, he makes this little chip shot from 25 yards out, and it's 3-3. Third quarter, it's the SEC, Scott. It means more. It's still 3-3 in the third as we pick it up for the offensive juggernaut that is Oklahoma LSU. Mateer looking long, picked off by A.J. Halsey, and he brings it back 42 yards to set up LSU. Great return. LSU's offense now on the field, and Van Buren this time keeps it, picks up a key block, and there he goes. Right side gets it all the way down to the 1-yard line. He dives to the pylon, but he's out at the 1. So LSU now has it at the goal line. So what do? Of course it's a quick pass, but this time it works. Xavier Thomas takes it in. It's 10-3. LSU up on the road. Brett Venable is chewing someone out on the headphones. End of the third quarter. Mateer, the quick hit to Deion Burks, and Burks, hello, where's everybody? He's gone. 45 yards, and we're tied at 10. Fourth quarter now. Tigers, they're going to try to get a little tricky, and it's not going to work because they're going to try to toss it back, but the Oklahoma defense is there to mess things up. It's a fumble and a loss of 17. So Ramos comes in, and from 45 yards out, he's good, and it's a 3-0 lead for the Tigers. But under 5 minutes to play. Scott, again, the definition of a blown coverage. Hello. There isn't a defender between Norman and Stillwater.
It looks like there's a hard time covering the seam route, and I don't understand why these people are running so wide open.
58 yards on that touchdown pass. Now it's 4th and 2. You can't settle for a field goal. You've got to get a first down, keep this thing going. But Van Buren's pass is knocked down. Oklahoma celebrates because they stay at number 8. They're not going to the SEC championship, which pretty much means they're a lock for the playoffs. They'll just wait and see what happens to everybody else. 17-13 is your final score. LSU throws for $113. Oklahoma 318. Third down conversions, again, a struggle for LSU. Just 2 of 14, while Oklahoma goes 4 for 15. You got to say it. You didn't want to see this. I never thought we'd see this on the scoreboard, Scott, but it's true. Against FBS opponents this season, LSU's offense did not get north of 25 in a single game. Interim head coach Frank Wilson talking about the distractions in the coaching position after the game.
They're human, right? And that device they carry with them, Jock, all the time. And so I don't know. They don't necessarily bring it to us, but certainly there's probably not a person involved in sports that hasn't seen the topic, if you will, of what's going to happen with the LSU job. I don't think they're immune to it, although I don't think it's taken their undivided attention. But those are the distractions and some of the things that we continually had to deal with, fight with, manage as we prepare for this game as well. I love LSU, and as long as LSU will have me, I'd love to be a part of what we're doing here.
We'll get to topic du jour, the coaching here in just a moment. But, Scott, I'm not sure when Brian Kelly left last season saying we're taking receipts, we'll see you in the national championship, I'm not sure any of us knew we'd be sitting here at the end of November with a team that can't score 25 points, a Heisman Trophy candidate quarterback that was more than 2,000 yards short of what he was a year ago, a team that went 7-5, now looking for a head coach. I don't know where to start with it, but
No.
there's just a lot that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, there are a lot of questions after this season because I think there were high hopes for everybody. Everybody expected this team, especially when you go back to look at Game 1 against Clemson on the road, big-time win. The defense looked outstanding, and everybody was riding LSU into the college football playoff and possibly the national championship. The quarterback play, Nuss was banged up all year. We don't know the extent of his injuries he was playing through. Wasn't able to get the running game going. You and I sat here. You've had the two most highly touted recruiting running backs in the last two classes, Harlan Berry and Cam Durham. You don't run the football. You can't run the football. But I think what you can't lose sight of is for LSU, no matter who is standing on that sideline, to get back to being what they need to be. Yes, the quarterback position, the O-line and the D-line need to get much better to compete in the SEC and to compete for national championships.
I don't think there was enough focus put on the offensive line when 3 of your players from last year are playing on Sundays and getting paid in the NFL. That's a big loss to try to help your quarterbacks. You also found out Michael Van Buren can fill in, but passing-wise to keep that game going, I'm not sure if he's the guy moving forward with the numbers and what he was able to do as much as Garrett Nussmeier has been struggling. But, of course, all the focus for LSU has been in Oxford, Mississippi, where the Ole Miss Rebels won on Friday in the Egg Bowl against Mississippi State. That has launched them into a lock for being in the playoffs, and they currently are sitting as the number 5 seed. Lane Kiffin has been the target for LSU. The question was he going to be able to coach the team in the Egg Bowl? They let him do that. Now he wants to coach the team throughout. It has been a wild 24 hours since Saturday night to where we are here on Sunday. And the latest reports are he was set to have a team meeting on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. That got pushed back. Lane Kiffin reportedly has told his staff, if you're coming with me, you're getting on a plane right now. If not, you're not coming to Baton Rouge when I get there. He's coming to Baton Rouge. We don't know what kind of staff he's going to have with him, Scott. And Ole Miss is playing hardball. They don't want him to go to LSU but still coach Ole Miss and poach. But he's going to be poaching anyway, which, let's be honest, the biggest loser in this, the Rebels from Ole Miss, who are having an unbelievable season that now might not even know who's on their staff to coach in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's disappointing, especially when you look at it from a timeline perspective. What these guys have been able to accomplish going into the college football playoff and possibly not having their head coach and other coaches there, it's not fair to them, and the timing, this whole thing needs to get worked out. But again, you're dealing with class start, fall classes and spring classes. You can't just keep pushing everything back. That's the disappointing part of it. But it doesn't seem like it was just yesterday. We're sitting here talking about these college coaching contracts and how crazy they are. But when you don't score more than 25 points against an FBS opponent all year, you'll do crazy things and hire an offensive mastermind, and that's certainly what Lane Kiffin is.
Well, we'll see how many people from Louisiana, whether it's the university or government and politics overall, since they jumped into this fray about a month and a half ago, will sign off on it. But the reports are for Lane Kiffin, 7 years, $90 million with incentives. So you just fired a coach 10 years, $100 million to bring in a coach 7 years, $90 million, and a reported guarantee of being north of 20 to 25 million in NIL, which takes us back to this year. You spent $18 million on this year's roster, and you went 7-5. So what's the timeline and the patience for a Lane Kiffin to come in here with this salary and that kind of money? Is it 2 years? Is it 3 years? Do you go 9-3? Is it a failure? I mean, that's where this is all going.
Yeah, I think year one you give a little bit of a buffer, but there's no doubt when you're making that much money and you are sought after the way he's being sought after. Year two, it's college football playoff for bust, and it's not like they're going to fire Lane Kiffin after year two, but it'd be a disappointment if you don't see LSU in the college football playoff in year two. I just think that's where the whole thing is going. And if I'm Ole Miss, I'm saying whatever LSU's paying you, we'll pay it to you, because you know what? You're not going to get your name on their field or their stadium. You have an opportunity at Ole Miss to do that here. So it kind of surprises me that push wasn't made, or maybe it's just Lane saying, hey, I want to go coach down there in Death Valley.
And I think, in my opinion, I think a lot of it has to do with recruiting, too, because everybody wants to come to Louisiana to recruit. If you're at the flagship school in the university with 100,000 in the stadium, maybe you feel like you can get the kids and get it done. But here's the deal. You win 9 or 10 at Oxford, you're doing great. You win 11 or 12, you get a statue. You come to LSU, you win 9 wins. You're going to say next year, if you don't do better, we're going to get you fired.
That's exactly
So we'll
right.
find out. All we can say is stay tuned. We might see a press conference on Monday for Southern with a new head coach, LSU with a new head coach. We'll all see what happens. But bottom line, don't forget, these Tigers are going bowling. We just have to wait a week and see how it's going to all turn out. So, hey, look, it has been a great year. We thank you for joining us for Game Notes here on LPB. We'll be back for a postseason show later on. But for Scott Shanley, I'm Victor Howell. Goodbye, everybody.